I relocated my ginger here, right? And I let them sprout in a pot first before I put them in the soil, and I highly recommend you do that. I tried, the water bath method where you submerge them somewhat in water, and well, I mean, it might work if you start indoors, but outdoors it's not it's not good for Sweden, at least. I don't know about your climate zones, but for Sweden it's better to actually plant it in soil and let it sprout. No, the idea is for it to start, spreading, and since it spreads sideways, I chose a pretty large area for it because I like ginger, right? I mean, like it's a no-brainer. What you like the most, you give the most space to, right? So, ginger accomplished. I made this wood storage from well, I used barrel, right? Plastic barrel. I took off the lid of it, and I made some holes in what I wanted to be the bottom, right? So moisture runs out of it and it lets in air, right? So like 3 holes, stacked some wood in it. It gets really hot in here, so the wood dries pretty fast, and the rain can't get it. So it's an easy fix, and it's a really good solution. So yeah, but well, I mean, that depends. Maybe you don't have a barrel at home, right? So, but if you do, and you're not using it for rainwater or whatever, this is a good tip, right? So I noticed that the rose hip of the famous dog rose, it's infamous around here. I mean, the food industry turns this one into soup, right? It's jam-packed with vitamin C and all kinds of minerals, and well, it's really good for you, and it grows abundantly around here. So I noticed that it's getting more mature, and it's probably about that time where I need to start picking some if I want to make some soup from it, right? But I'll show you how to do that later on. So when it comes down to the rose hips here, this is what they're supposed to look like. Maybe a little bit more orange, but I'm not gonna cook from this one anyway, so I might as well just show you, right? So let's see, one-handed. Yeah, well, that's what it looks like inside, right? Now these seeds are covered with a fuzzy surface, right? And they can be a little bit irritating for your stomach, so they're not recommended to be eaten, right? However, they contain omega-3 and omega-6, so they actually make oil from it, right? A really healthy oil. And I don't know, I mean, if it contains that, and you actually, maybe you can squish it, and that way make it less irritable for your stomach. But I'm not sure about that part. But anyway, so you scoop them out, right? And you're left with this flesh here. This is what you make the soup from. And as you can tell, it doesn't take that much to actually get a decent amount of rose hips, right? And this one contains minerals, vitamins. It's really healthy for you, so I mean, to anyone living in nature, it's really, really beneficial, right? And you can dry it, store it that way, and still have it contain beneficial nutrients, right? I mean, let's say, for an example, you store it and you dry it, and that way you may lose some of the vitamin C, but that's it. I mean, the minerals and such, they stay the same. So it's a good soup to have, you know? Recommend it. So I'm back, guys. After researching the subject, I found out that you can actually make a paste from the seeds, right? But it's kind of time consuming. But what you do is you clean them of the fuzzy surface, right? You wash them off, you get as much of the fuzzy surface off. I mean, as you can tell, I can even do it by hand like this, right? I get fuzz on my fingers, right? So you clean them off, you dry them, then you slow roast them on low temperature, crush them into a powder, and you can mix them with, for an example, olive oil, right? A little bit of olive oil, and then you gotta spread for your bread, or you can, I mean, you can put it on any kind of cereal mixture, I guess. But they contain omega-3, 6, and 9. I found out it was even omega-9, but the highest amount is from omega-3 and 6. And it's like something around, I think it's 15% of the actual seed. So that's pretty high, actually. So it might be worth it, but you need to get rid of the fuzzy surface. That's the part that irritates your stomach, okay? And when you roast it, you drop the amount of irritable compounds, I might say, in the actual shell of the seed. So you need to get rid of the fuzz, roast them, grind it, mix it into a paste. Super healthy. I mean, really, really super healthy. And you can tell how much seeds you get from just, you know, just one rose hip, right? So it might be worth it. Your choice, right? Bye. So if you like the content, share, like, subscribe, you know, maybe not in that order, but you know the thing, you know the drill, right? I mean, you've been around for a while, so yeah, and see you later.